the Lucky Pants on the Hunter is one of the most underrated exotics that I do not see any hunters using, and I just simply don't know why. I've been doing some testing recently, and the Lucky Pants is a great solo hunter exotic for insane burst DPS that you can do right now. It is super easy, and I'm going to go over that in this video. Short and sweet, let's get straight into it. So as the Lucky Pants state, when you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or a damage type that matches your subclass energy type, each hit from that hand cannon increases the damage of the next shot for a short time against a combatant. So what this means in simple terms is you have 5.5 seconds once you pull out a fully loaded hand cannon that's either kinetic or it matches your subclass damage type. You have 5.5 seconds to do as much damage as possible, and each shot that you shoot will then give you a stacking bonus. So every single shot that you hit will increase your damage by 60% of that hand cannon, maxing out at a total of 600% at the end. So if you hit 10 shots, you will have a 600% damage boost to that hand cannon that you are using, as long as you get 10 shots in within that 5.5 seconds. So every hand cannon works for this build, and hand cannons that match your subclass will also count, such as the Ariana's Vow. However, through some vigorous testing, the best hand cannon in my opinion for this build is the Crimson. This is an exotic hand cannon that fires a 3-round burst. So the Crimson is the go-to for this build because it fires a 3-round burst, meaning you can get off 9 shots or 3 bursts super quick in the first 2 seconds, meaning you have the last 3 seconds of this buff to do 600% weapon damage with the remaining bullets in the magazine. On top of this, the Crimson also has some great perks with Cruel Remedy, so if you do get any kills, it will heal you, and then it will also refill the magazine. This is great for the Crimson. So after shooting just 3 bursts, you will have put out 9 bullets, meaning you will be at 540% weapon damage, and then on that 4th burst, the first bullet will then carry you over to that 600% weapon damage, and then every shot you shoot after that will then carry that 600% weapon damage throughout until that 5.5 seconds is finished. Now there are a few buffs in the game that you can add to this increased Lucky Pants damage. The most easiest one is triple kinetic weapon surge on the boots. If you have 3 of these on, it will give you an extra 22% damage buff to that kinetic weapon, adding that total from 600 to 622% damage buff. And then on top of that, you can make yourself radiant with the Gunslinger Hunter subclass, which will add an extra 25% damage buff, meaning a total of 647% weapon damage just from an exotic hand cannon. Now that is insane and insanely good for single target burst damage. So I've just slowed this clip down so that you guys can understand what's happening and the simple rotation that is involved. So what you want to do is make sure that you have 3 armor charges, making sure that you can stack triple kinetic weapon surge on the boots. So what I'm doing here is clearing the ads and creating fire sprites on the ground. Collecting them will then give me 3 armor charges, as you see. I then make myself radiant with my melee, pull out my hand cannon, and stack the damage as quickly as possible on the boss. So again, this is another slowed down footage. As you can see, I correct an orb of power and then a fire sprite to get triple armor charges, proccing that kinetic weapon surge in the boots. I then throw out a melee, just like that. I am now radiant. I pull out my hand cannon and do as much burst damage to the boss as I possibly can. So this is the whole rotation. This is as simple as it gets. All you do is get triple armor charge to proc the kinetic weapon surges in your boots, make yourself radiant, and then go ham with the Crimson with the Lucky Pants buff activated. So you may be thinking, oh, well, this is just, a normal Lost Sector. It doesn't do that much damage. Well, here's a clip of me in a 1840 Master Lost Sector burning down a Overload champion before it gets back up from the Overload stun. Just to prove it, as you can see, there's the modifiers. And when I die here, there's the 1840 recommended power. So this is great in even that high-end content just for that single burst. And as you can see, I'm also only 1840 power myself. So you can just imagine the capabilities this has if you're up to light. So just a couple things that I'm going to quickly run over with the fragments and aspects and the artifacts. In the artifact, all you need to have for this build to work is the Solar Surge. As you can see, collecting a fire sprite gives you an armor charge. Super easy there. Now in the Hunter subclass, I like to use the Knife Trick, which states that it scorches targets. I also like to use the Knock 'em Down. And you can see down the bottom here, it says, while radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. So when you throw out that Knife Trick and you get a powered kill, it's going to refund yourself that full energy back, while also making you radiant through the Ember of Torches solar artifact. So if you have this on, as you can see, when you get a powered melee attack against a combatant, it makes you radiant. And thirdly, I like to use the Ember of Searing. Defeating a scorched target grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. So the whole rotation is throw out your knife trick. It's going to make you radiant, which will then also refund your melee back to you, and then also creating a fire sprite through Ember of Searing. You then pick up this fire sprite, granting armor charge. The other way you can do this is put on Acrobat's dodge, where when you dodge, you make yourself radiant. However, I like using knife trick and knock them down, as it's a more consistent way to get radiant, and it also creates fire sprites, and it also can kill enemies. Everything else is completely up to you. You can use whatever you want. Those are just some of the prerequisites to make getting armor charges for the kinetic weapon surge super easy, and also making your guardian radiant. But that's pretty much Guardians. Hope you enjoyed this one. Make sure to try it out. Let me know in the comments if you already used this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll catch you later.